everyone. September 12, 2022, 6:05. I would like to bring the regular city council meeting to order. This meeting will be conducted in person and also with the public participation involved. So all emails will continue to be accepted, but will not be read aloud at the visitor meeting. We will start the visitor meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I would like Matt to lead us for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. I would like to ask our city clerk, Mr. Barr, for roll call.
Councilmember Lowe? Here. Vice Mayor Barnett?
Here.
Councilmember Agromonte? Here. Mayor Dean?
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. This afternoon at 4:30, our city council member did have a closed session in the meeting. At this time, no any item to share with the public. Next, I would like to approve tonight's agenda. Any changes, any move?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I would like to continue item 6.3 to the next meeting, September 23rd.
6.3. All right. We should have the motion and a second.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Lowe?
No.
Vice Mayor Barnett?
Aye.
Councilmember Agromonte? Yes. Councilmember Dean?
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries 3-1.
Just to be clear, that item is has to do with Parklet and the Sonoma Al Fresco program, and Councilmember Felder, who is a member of the Committee on Parklet, is not here tonight. So,
Thank you so much, Vice Mayor Barnett, for your explanation. All right, let's move to agenda number 1, public comments from the audience. All the items in here, you can make a comment, not only appearing on this agenda. It is recommended you keep your comment 3 minutes or less. Please come to the podium, starting how to spell your last name.
Good evening, members of the City Council. Matthew Metzler, METZ. As reflected by the City Council's declaration of a climate emergency, we face a tremendous challenge in dealing with ongoing climate change. In light of this threat, I think it's important that we each do all we can to reduce our personal carbon footprint. And one of the best ways we can do this is by bicycling or walking instead of driving around town. I rode my bike to this meeting, and I'd like to thank the City Council and the City of Sonoma for the recent improvements that make it easier to get around town by bicycle. I really enjoy riding to the plaza on the Broadway bike lanes. I consider the Broadway bike lanes a smashing success. These buffered bike lanes make cycling so much easier, and they make me feel so much safer when riding on Broadway. I no longer bicycle in fear of speeding traffic on my left and opening doors on my right. It was a long time coming, but I now wish to congratulate the City Council, the City's Public Works Department, and the Caltrans for restriping Broadway with these buffered bike lanes. It's also fairly clear that the bike lanes on 5th Street West between West Napa Street and MacArthur Street don't get as much use as they should. And as I had commented to the City Council over the years, a lot of this was because in addition to the north end of the 5th Street West bike path ending abruptly and not connecting to any other bike lane. The pavement has been very rough on the southwest corner of the 5th Street West and West Napa Street intersection. This is right in front of Pacific Rim Auto Repair. I spoke to the city council about this in the past, and I'm glad that now, after long last, this area has finally been repaved. So now I no longer have to brace myself for a bone-shaking ride when bicycling on the turn from westbound West Napa Street to southbound 5th Street West. And I'm thrilled to see that after waiting 10 years, the Newcomb Street Friar Creek Bike Bridge is nearly complete. And it will be great when the high school and Adele Harrison students coming from the west can walk or bicycle to school more easily than having to drive. And now my daughter will be able to avoid MacArthur Street traffic when bicycling to her job at Safeway more safely. So I hope to continue seeing more bike infrastructure improvements around town in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Any in the public come from Mizzou, please?
Yes, we have multiple hands raised.
Great.
We're going to start with Kathy King and we'll be bringing her up now. Kathy, you can go ahead whenever you're ready.
Oh. Yeah.
Kathy, if you can hear us, you can go ahead and speak. You're in the meeting.
Can you please turn up the sound? I can't hear anything. I'm trying to make a statement.
Thank you.
I can't hear anything.
Oh. We can hear. Kathy? Hi, Kathy. We can't hear you.
I
Yeah, you
can't,
can
I
double-
can't hear anything either. I can't
Oh.
hear you talk. You're like a
Yeah.
whisper.
No, we can hear from you. You just go
Okay,
ahead.
then I'll
Speak.
talk then.
All right.
Okay.
Okay,
I'll
thank you.
start. Thank you. Hi, my name is Kathy King. I'm the Executive Director of Sonoma Overnight Support, and I live in Moon Valley. On August 29th, I was asked by Dave Kiff, the interim Executive Director of the CDC, along with other county shelter providers, what we plan to do with the high heat wave that was coming over Labor Day and the week to follow. I sent the information to Sue Casey, the interim city manager, and to the city council, and asked you, the city council, to open up the Vets Hall for a cooling center. Sue replied the next day the county had decided not to declare it an emergency. There were no red flag warnings. City employees were short-staffed, and the last time the Vets Hall was used as a cooling center, not a lot of people came. I participated in the other county meeting, and we decided, the SOS board decided to open a cooling center. So at the Sonoma Valley Grange, we opened one on Sunday, September 4th, from noon to 4. Monday, Labor Day, which was a holiday, noon to 4. Normally we're closed on that date, but the staff came in and volunteers. Because the heat wave continued, we extended our normal hours to 3 p.m. And on Friday, September 9th, we had 6 days of the cooling center with 53 people attending. Some people came in and sat socially distancing In the corners, other homeless people came in and out. We also set up a misting machine and extra tents in the parking lot, and that was appreciated by our homeless. We sent out flyers in English and Spanish, delivered them to people in the Springs area. We also sent a Facebook flyer to Fish, Vintage House, La Luz, Health Center, the hospital. I called the dispatch of the fire department and spoke with Orlando and asked if anybody that was in distress, please send them to the Grange. Our total expense for the cooling center was about $2,000, mostly for staff. There were 6 staff, and we only spent a little bit of money. Gary Edwards so generously gave us some bottles of water from Glen Ellen Market. Safeway gave us a $40 gift certificate. We did have to buy extra water because we added water to our home deliveries, and we also added water over at the Haven where we gave showers and distributed those extra. I'm deeply disappointed that neither the city nor the county stepped up to take care of the most vulnerable in our community. I'm fearful if we have another heat wave, or God forbid, we have a fire, we are unprepared. Thank you for listening.
I cannot, can you hear me?
Yes, I can now.
Okay, thank you, thank you. I'm making this public. Can you hear me? Okay. Good evening. My name is Zoya Sayed, and I'm an outreach analyst for the California Department of Insurance. I'm just happy to give you an update about the work we have been doing. It's a wildfire season, so I want to touch bases on Safer from Wildfires framework, an interagency partnership between Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara and the emergency response and readiness agencies in Governor Newsom's administration. Its purpose is to provide lives, protect lives, homes, and businesses by reducing wildfire risk. We are working with CAL FIRE, Cal OES, the Governor's Office of Planning and Research, and the Public Utilities Commission. With experiencing devastating wildfires, Commissioner Laura is using every tool available to improve insurance for our communities. So basically, it's a ground up approach where we have 3 layers. We call it SFW 123, a plan. Number 1, to protect structures, such as making sure your roof and vents are up to code. Number 2, the immediate surroundings, such as brush too close to your home. And number 3, the community. So involve all the firewise community, to prevent wildfires from catching and spreading to other homes and businesses in the neighborhood. And today I have good news that last week Commissioner Ricardo Lara submitted his insurance pricing regulations to the California Office of Administrative Law, and that would recognize that reward wildfire safety and mitigation efforts made by the homeowners and businesses. So just wanted to be here and also remind you that from the department, if you have any need for any insurance needs, we are here. Please call us, go on our website. We have lots of tools available for homeowners, for wildfires, for other insurance tools. And our return back time is only 2 minutes. So please use our services, and we are here to help. Thank you so much.
Good evening. This is Claire Solot. I'm a resident of Sonoma. I don't know if you all can hear me because, as many other speakers have mentioned, the volume for those of us who are attending remotely is barely audible. So can someone there just give me a hand signal that you in fact can hear me? Mayor Ding, can you hear me? Thank you. I'm speaking tonight about good governance practices. I have been an attorney in practice for 30 years and have had a range of experience working with various government entities as an employee and as a consultant for city, county, state, and federal representatives. I was extremely disheartened at what I saw occur at the last council meeting, where members of this council attempt to relitigate, in essence, an issue that had been fully vetted, discussed, and voted on at the June 1st meeting. This type of behavior does not give the residents of Sonoma any confidence that council will honor its decisions. Sadly, this is not the first time that this has happened in less than a year's time. Today's agenda includes an important issue in terms of the existing parklet program. And as we know, there are several council members who are not planning to run in the November election, but have expressed strong opinions about prematurely shuttering this program. I would ask that this council give serious consideration to tabling that agenda item, and if it is to be revisited, it be done after the new council is seated. At minimum, the only issue that would be appropriate to hear today is the approval of a master plan committee to work on a long-term vision for the plaza. But any attempt to prematurely shutter the existing plan, which was voted on just 4 meetings ago, is inappropriate and unfair to the residents, owners, and employees of our city. Thank you.
Dedication. Agenda number 3, presentation. 3.1, celebration of Sonoma. Presentation. Specific of recognition in honor of the Cheyenne protest. I would like to pass my fellow council lady.
Thank you, Mayor Ding. And it's my great honor to be able to introduce this item. Celebrate Sonoma is a special part of the Sonoma process with the City Council, where we do something really special for people who've done something really special for all of us. So, I think most of you are aware of the Sebastiani Theater. Many of you go there for watching movies. My kids went there to be in the Witchy Poo show, which I have to say started off with my daughter Emily at Flowery School, and learning how to do all the dance shows and all of the songs. And I will say that I did have a lot of trauma with my kids thinking there was a witch under their bed for several years. But we outgrew it. I also, my youngest son, Tony, was involved and actually ran the county candy counter there, and every time he comes into town, checks it out, and, you know, with great glee, but also looks at it and says, I think I would have put that over on this side, and maybe got the M&Ms in it, whatever. And I also like the fact that you could always get like a maple candy at the, I think it's still there, at the Sebastiani Theater. So then there's live music, there's live shows. Roger comes out and introduces it. It's, you know, it's part of the history of this town, and that they're keeping it alive for all of us. So I'd like to bring Roger and Diana forward, and Bob Gossett is here, and he has a little song to sing for us to introduce this item as well. So Roger and Diana, come forward, and then we'll listen to Bob. And Tony, my son Tony was performing arts cat, and my grandkids have gone to the camp, so as well. So I know that people, it's now, so it's gone multi-generational, and it's just amazing when you see these kids that, you know, my daughter and her kids now going to the camps that she went to when she was a kid, and it's just provided just you know, it's an absolute jewel, and every town should be absolutely jealous. And if you think that there's a problem parking on the plaza, the worst day to park on the plaza is when the Witchy Poo is there, because everybody wants to go see Witchy Poo. And I'm wearing my as Witchy Poo as I could get today and still look, you know, normal, somewhat. I've got bats on my shirt. It'll be interesting. I also want to, before, while Bob is tuning his guitar, that to know that there is going to be an event on Saturday, 6 o'clock. Am I right? Did we start at 6? Doors open at 6. There will be a roast and some music and fun at the Sebastiani. Roast toast. Roast toast, okay? And yours truly will be part of it. I will be making an absolute idiot of myself. So all of you, please come. If you don't think that I'm capable of that, boy, have I got news for you. So please come, and we'll salute Roger and Diana. Okay, Bob, we'll start with the song, and then Roger and Diana.
Excuse me, maybe we need a, you know, mic in the first mic. Otherwise, it is not. Yeah. Yes.
All right.
got it.
So, Roger wants short. So, I wrote this song for one of the nights. It's a talking blues. Mostly about Roger. Well, way back yonder in 42, boy named Roger is born, is true. In Coffeyville, Kansas, its claim to fame was being named Cowtown in the Dalton game. Wendell Wilkie taught school there. Garrett Busey went to school there, and Philip Earhart, Philip who? He's the drummer for Kansas, the band you once knew. For Carry On, My Wayward Son. Dust in the Wind, that's a pretty good song, but none of that matters. We're here for Roger Roden. He's still got some Kansas in him. Just listen to his drawl. Roger and his family moved to Wichita, went to South High School where he saw a gal named Diana, but they didn't connect till years later at a bar they met called the Hi-Ho Club, where he rescued her from a guy she didn't eat around anywho. They got together and soon moved out west to Long Beach at his dad's request. They got jobs working at UCLA Medical Center, where he spent his days as a legal drug pusher. Had his hair real long. Some folks there called him Jesus. Jesus Roden. Has a nice ring to it, don't you think? Legal drug pusher meaning he was just walking around passing out drugs to the people. In a hospital. It was legal. Roger studied and became a farrier. That's a fancy name for a horseshoer. They moved to Sonoma with a guy named Steve, lived in a van, but soon they did leave. Because Jeremy was born, so back to Kansas they went to hang out with his parents, her parents. It was time well spent, but they were homesick. Sonoma was calling. Time to put down some Central Avenue roots. Roger settled in at SDC. He became a psych tech, but it was plain to see that he needed something else to spur his ambition, so he decided he was going to become a magician. Soon the Magic Man and Witchy Poo, that's their stage names for those who never knew, were doing shows and entertaining the masses. What they could do, you don't learn in classes. We saw Pooh and Two. Put her back again. Never did ask him which was her better half. That was a joke. Well, I'm almost done. Soon he outgrew the boys and girls scene. He had made his way over to Sebastiani. It was hurt for certain, but he had a plan to save the theater as best a man can. He founded Foss, you can look that one up, put on live shows, but that just weren't enough. So in '92, he made a bid, and guess what the city of Sonoma did? They said she's yours. You can run her. Best decision the city ever made. Except for those bike lanes. That was for Sandra. So 30 years later, she's still going strong with movies and shows and ballet and song. There's a treasure for sure in the heart of her city. All because Roger, that horseshoe and hippie, he had a vision, a plan, the goal to keep this theater from becoming a mall, so that you and I and our kids down the road can sit here and take off our heavy load and laugh, and cry, and smile. That's why we love them. That's why we're here. Thank you, Roger, from the bottom of our ever-loving, pea-picking heart.
Nice. Wonderful.
So for 30 years, you must have had some good experiences. Roger and Diana, if you have some words for us, and then we'll all see you on Saturday.
The only thing I'd like to say is that, we live in such a wonderful community, and that theater is such a special place. And over the years, it wouldn't have been possible to be there except for all the wonderful people here and all the support that we received. And I'd just like to make a special mention of what the city's role has been in that theater. So you've been a partner in that theater since the very beginning. And without you, it wouldn't be able to be possible. So first of all, I'd like to thank the city council, and all the people over all the years in the city that have been very supportive. That's really important. Secondly is that we're blessed with a lot of great people in this town that are very
Thank you again, everyone. Let's move. Listed consent calendar are considered to be routine and will be acted upon by a single motion. If any change on the pull out,
I'd like to pull item 4.7, please.
yes. Okay, 4.7. Any other item we need?
Mayor Ding and city council members, before taking action on the consent calendar, huh? Oh, are you pulling, I'm sorry.
Yeah, pull.
Did you want to pull any other items before I get going on that one?
Yeah.
Didn't let you finish there, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so before taking action on the consent calendar, please be advised that Government Code Section 54953C3 requires the City Council to orally report a summary of any recommendation for council action on salaries, salary schedules, or fringe benefits for any city executives. As part of Agenda Item 4.9, the Council is considering adopting revised terms and conditions of employment for non-represented executive, at-will, management, administrative, and confidential personnel. The non-represented executive, at-will, management, administrative, and confidential personnel does not include the interim city manager. The interim city manager has a separate contract which was approved by the City Council on May 18th, 2022. No adjustments to the interim city's manager's salary and benefits that were previously approved with that contract are being considered. This agenda item is requesting that the City Council approve the same salary and benefit changes for the non-representative executive at-will, management, and administrative personnel that were negotiated and adopted for SEIU Local 1021 on August 17, 2022. The key elements of the proposed changes to the employment and compensation for this group are a 3-year term commencing July 1, 2022, a cost of living adjustment of 8% effective the first full pay period following August 17, 2022, effective the first pay period following July 1, 2023, and the first pay period following July 1, 2024. The salary schedule shall be adjusted by between 2% and 2.5%, depending on the consumer price index and the city's revenue change. An increase in the city, an increase in the city's contribution to health care benefits for qualifying members, effective the first full pay period following August 17, 2022, and an additional increase effective the first full pay period following July 1, 2023, and an additional increase effective the first full pay period following July 1, 2024. And that there's more information in the staff report that's attached.
Thank you. Any more item needed to move, change, or for an explanation? Right now, we do have 4.7. From the none, and I'd like to open to public. Any comments? No. Let me close on a public comment. Can we now take a motion?
I move the consent calendar with the exception of 4.7.
Who second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
And Mayor Dean, just as an FYI, there was no hands raised for public comment on
Okay,
Zoom.
thank you.
Thank
you for double check.
Councilmember Lowe,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Barnett,
Aye.
Councilmember Agramonte,
Aye.
Mayor Dean.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries 4001. And also, just as an FYI, we did find out from our tech people that there was an internal audio amplifier that burned out, which was
Oh.
causing the issue. We've bypassed it, so the sound should be fixed.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. So that explains what happened with.
Yeah, for the why cannot listen. All right, let's go to a section 4.7, adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager to approve the purchase A1, the new Clean River Recycling Resolutions and water receptacles in amount of $123,619 to replace the outdated trash bin around the city of the Sonoma Plaza. It is recommended that the City Council approve the purchase of the 81 receptacle from the Clean River Recycle Resolutions to replace outdated waste containers on the plaza. City Manager Sue Casey, could you please make a little bit of introduction for this background?
Right, and I'm actually going to pass it over to Oriana Hart, our, yes.
Thank you.
Hi. So, City Council, this is a follow-on from an item that was approved under our capital improvement budget in June. And so we have some money from Prop 68, and we had applied to use that to replace those receptacles. And so this would be the quote that we found to do that.
How many vendors you'd like to request quotation?
We requested quotes from 3 different vendors. The one that was originally in the budget was twice that amount, and this was the cheapest price that we could find. I didn't get a response from the third one, so I only got prices from 2, but I requested from 3, I should say.
Thank you.
Can you put these up on the screen? Is that possible? So that
It's a attachment.
like for example, this, yeah. Okay. Well, while you're doing that, I have a few comments.
Go ahead.
So first of all, I was very excited to see this on the agenda in the sense that our current garbage receptacle situation on the plaza is an embarrassment. And so while I'm excited that we're moving down that road to replace these, I'm a little concerned with these receptacles for a variety of reasons. How tall are they?
Off the top of my head, I would have to defer to that diagram. But they're the same height as the ones that were looked at and approved by the CSEC.
I know, and that was 3 years ago.
Yes.
They seem very, well, okay, so I have a few issues. One, they seem to be sort of massive.
Okay.
2, there seem to be a lot of them. And 3, they seem to be, again, black, blue, green. Just the multicolored nature, I think, will detract from the plaza. And while I understand 1383 requires that, it doesn't require it like this. I mean, it just requires, like, for example, just the top, or you need some color on there. You don't need the entire receptacle to be...
To be green?
Yeah. So, you know, and so I think, well, actually, why did Public Works select this? Because I feel like I know why, but...
Well, I'll take them in order. So the reason that they're the size that they are to fit the toters that we are currently using. So they have to fit a 50-gallon toter, and that's our current waste study that we have is spec'd out for that size, and that seems to be approximately what we're using on the plaza for waste. Our sustainability coordinator is part of rolling these out, is going to do a waste characterization to see if that is true, but that is what we currently have. So the sizing is to accommodate that. We've also been advised by our sustainability coordinator about the color. So the green is consistent with 1383, and the black is consistent with state law saying that waste has to be black. So.
Correct, but it doesn't have to be the entire receptacle.
Okay.
I'm also curious about like like obviously these 3 receptacles are equal in size, but I don't think trash, compost, and recycle is equal in terms of what is distributed.
Yeah.
And, you know, in general, this may surprise you, but this weekend I did a lot of research on trash receptacles because I have to admit, I think these are going to be very large, very bright. I have a feeling Public Works liked this because, as you say, it's, it can contain these wheeled receptacles that we currently use. And so I'm sure they're efficient, and I'm sure since they're so large, you won't have to empty them as often. I'm sure there are a variety of different reasons why this was selected, but at the end of the day, the plaza is a national landmark. And I just can't imagine these receptacles sort of being on a national landmark. I mean, I've been to very nice parks around the country, and oftentimes they're receptacles. Sometimes they are like sort of city-specific receptacles. They're smaller. I've seen a lot of like nice receptacles online that is just one receptacle divided 3 ways within, a 3-stream receptacle. And so ultimately why I'm happy this is on here is because not only is this showing progress toward replacing the absolutely embarrassing trash receptacle situation we currently have, I also don't want to replace that situation with something new, but equally, I don't want to say, I just, but what I think this does point out is the need for what we're going to talk about at some point here, a plaza master plan. Because what we typically do on the plaza is we put in those light outlets not too long ago with a style of green that didn't match anything else. We're going to do these trash receptacles. We'll put in bike racks that don't match anything else. And over time, we're just, in my view, not treating, I mean, this is a national landmark. It's not Marine World, okay? And this is something I feel like I would see at Marine World. And so, with all due respect to Marine World, again, this is the Sonoma Plaza. And so, what I would like is, and I think we're going to talk about this at the next meeting, we need to look at the plaza, I think, differently. And I don't want to spend, and that's the other thing, this is $120,000 for trash cans. That just seems like a lot of money to me. I know in Napa, didn't you guys recently purchase over in Napa, like $8,000 trash cans, but they're solar powered? Those big, I'm sort of talking to Mike right now, but for each, I think we have like 25 stations throughout the plaza. For each one, that would be almost $4,000 if they're about $1,300 per receptacle. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that just seems a lot to me, especially considering some of the other stuff I saw online. And so those are my general thoughts. I don't know if anyone else on the council has any thoughts about this, but, they seem to be, I don't know, 4 feet tall. They seem to be large, and they seem to be a lot of them. Like and so, and they just seem like they will be very bright and not match the National Landmark Plaza. And so I don't want to slow down progress on replacing the disaster we have, but I also don't want to spend $125,000 on something that a new plaza master plan would probably not approve. And so.
Yep. Yeah, I totally agree with the Vice Mayor and the Barnes and the points. And first of all, it's from the price-wise, I look at it. Yeah, a little bit. So that's the reason I ask you how many vendors you have been working with. Yeah, to see, one that is the container. Maybe that is right, but I'm a little bit in curiosity, And another thing is, it's possible for us to lease, or rent or something like that. In this way, we can always follow. It's in a trend. We can, replace from time to time. I'm just wondering. And also, in this way, maybe it's a little bit flexible for us to change when time comes. For example, right now we are working on Plaza on the Master and the plan and see, and then we have a little bit more flexible to, make some changes to meet our needs.
I'm not sure about the leasing. Just to comment on the pricing piece of it, if you Google the prices that you find online for these similar type containers, which are significantly lesser for smaller containers. So that is true. The price is reflected in the large size that these are to accommodate the 50-gallon containers. I'd have to defer to Mike, but I think part of the reason we need the 50-gallon containers are with the negotiations we're having with Sonoma Garbage about picking up the ease of them being able to collect garbage from the plaza. So that speaks a little bit to the size. We're open to taking this back for people to look at it with your master plan with the colors. The only piece that I have is that currently we're approved under our Prop 68 funding to do this. So we would need to have a purchase completed by the end of 2023. So, and I don't know how long the master plan will take, that's all.
So Prop 68 is only through the end of next, not this next year?
Not this year.
Okay.
Okay.
So. Mike, do you have anything else?
No, you're covering everything.
Okay.
Any more questions from our council?
I don't have any questions. I mean, I'll take your lead on this one, Kelso. You've been so engaged in the garbage can situation that you're even studying it on the weekends. I'm
Says a lot, I know, about me. Yeah.
I'm really impressed with that. You know, I think that, you know, there probably aren't a lot of options out there, but, you know, since we're looking at the whole thing, let's look at it. And it's not like we don't have garbage cans out there. It's not like, well, we got to get these because, you know, there's no garbage cans out there. And, you know, if I can quote Tony Soprano, truth be told, there's enough garbage for everyone. So let's, you know, let's take a look at it. I'm okay with that. But I appreciate this. There's a lot of work that went into this, and I appreciate that work. Yeah, I really do. But if we're gonna wrap it into the other thing, that's okay with me.
Thank you, Mr.
Yes.
Mayor. So I do agree with Vice Mayor Barnett. My issue, however, is how do we move forward from here? I mean, we are trying to take care of the garbage company. Obviously, we're in negotiations with them right now. They probably want the most fortuitous things for them to be able to pick up. And I think what Kelso is, you know, concerned about is obviously that master plan. And so it's, you know, it's very important to, I think, the council to make sure that this beautiful place, you know, as you know, probably better than we do, but there just seems to be some kind of a disconnect when things are not going together. So I'm hoping this does not, you know, affect the grant funds. I don't think it does. So we still might have time. I have to be honest with you, I don't know what an alternative is. So possibly you all can do that, and I don't know whether whether we stay with the value of the plaza or the utilitarian, that seems to be a word I use a lot now, but the utilitarian garbage can that's good for the garbage company. I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't have any suggestions.
All right. Yeah, we all make the comments to have more. Yeah.
I have no more
Okay.
further comments.
Yeah, in this
But
way.
I'll follow up with
Yeah.
with some of the stuff I found. Yeah.
Let me open to public to see if any.
Hello, members of the City Council. I didn't even realize this was going to be on the agenda. I actually happened to be serving on the Community Services and Environment Commission when we approved this 3 years ago.
Oh.
And I just wanted to make 2 points. Number one, these are not strictly about garbage. This is about reducing the greenhouse gas production by improving recycling and compost. And that's the main reason I think that we need the new garbage containers. Aside from the aesthetics, is we really need to the inadequate containers we have now mean that a lot of stuff does not get composted or recycled that should be. And also, I just wanted to make one other point, which is to throw out a little bit of history with the City Council about the Friar Creek Bike Bridge, which we had meetings about starting in 2007. And it was approved by the City Council in about 2010 or 2011. And at the time, Dave Goodison said construction was going to start in a couple months. This was 2011. And then that's when we lost redevelopment agency funds, and we lost the funding, and it didn't happen for another 10 years. And I'm afraid the city council is going to be in a similar situation with this. There's grant funding, and then the things are put off, and we're waiting till a master plan. And I've just seen too many things that didn't happen because the city council was not, in my opinion, the city council was not assertive enough and did not make a decision and kick things down the road, and then other problems and complications and loss of funding came up. So I just want to make sure that you guys are aware of that before you delay. I've just seen too many things delayed too many times by the city of Sonoma. Those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
So I have something too. Can I?
Mayor Dean,
Yeah, let
we
me-
do have someone
Do
on
you- anyone-
Zoom.
Zoom,
yes,
okay,
If you want
it's
to go there
fine.
first.
Sure. Oh, I see. Great.
Hello, this is St. John Bain, 757 Oak Lane. I just wanted to quickly comment and support Council Member Barnett's comments on the importance of a strategic plan that he referenced, you know, the garbage cans, the parklets. We've got a myriad of issues in this city. I shouldn't say issues. We have a myriad of opportunities for the city to really come up with a holistic look at what are we doing with the plaza. Yes, it's complicated. There are a lot of components, but you know, this garbage situation is one of many that we need to deal with, and that should be done holistically by an appropriately put together group of citizens of our city and the surrounding area. Thank you very much.
Xi Jinping. Any more comments?
No one else is raising their hand, Mayor Dean.
All right. Looks like the no. Let me close the public comments right now. It's your turn.
Thank you. So I serve on zero waste, and these, for me, these cans, while they benefit the garbage company, they fall short. Whenever we dispose things, we stand at our garbage and go, where does this go? These don't even tell you what goes into these. They're different colors, but the ones in Sebastopol actually have samples of what you can throw into those receptacles. Maybe they don't have 50-gallon drums, but they certainly are informative, and that's one of the ones that I really like. And maybe they don't suit us or there's an issue, but thank you.
These are the same models that are going in Sebastopol. So the plate that you're seeing on the front, that can be pulled out and we can put in the same ones that Sebastopol has, that has a more colorful image of fruit stuff. So the little indent where the wording is where that can be removed and replaced. And it's exactly the same thing as Sebastopol. They're just a bigger container for 50-gallon drum things.
Well, with respect to that, I'm really appreciative. I'm sorry it wasn't there because it really is important. One of the concerns of zero waste and also 1383 is people don't even know what to throw what where, and it's still a confusion in spite of all the wonderful information, but it needs to be as simple as possible, and I think these garbage cans have that. And you know, I'll yield to for Vice Mayor Barnett. You know, I'm concerned. I mean, it would be easy for the garbage company with the 50-gallon drums, and maybe because some weekends, hopefully we have tons of visitors, they fill those garbage cans. I don't know that. So I would just like to be, I guess, more informed. So I thank you, Vice Mayor, for bringing this up.
I have a question. So, Mayor Dean,
Yes,
if I may.
please.
So the existing garbage cans, to Matt's point, are they not differentiated at our current ones for different?
Currently, we have 2 waste receptacles and 1 large recycling just bin sitting out there, and we don't have anything for compost.
We don't have anything for so that is a problem.
I've actually seen some of those, those blue recycling bins out there. I've seen green ones out there recently, and I just assumed those were for compost.
Those are just, Sonoma Garbage sometimes gives you green ones for waste because their coloring is inconsistent.
Can we make some of those compost in the meantime?
I thought that was the yard waste or garden waste or whatever.
I'd have to defer to you on that one. I'm not sure.
I mean, the ones in front of my house, which, I've got 3, and one of them is the one for yard waste, which is compost, I suppose.
Yeah, which has a green top.
Yep.
And then the green ones with the black top is landfill.
Yeah.
Bins on the plaza for compost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and right now Corrado's starting a switch out on that, but I wasn't aware that.
I think they have to. I think there was a law that was passed that says they have to. I don't know how they could get away with not.
Yeah.
Wait, on the plaza or? Yeah, because I think every residential customer should have that by now. Yeah.
Right, but my understanding. Yeah, I think that's a question we need to get the answer to before we pursue it, just to see where we are in the meantime, and to address Mr. Metzler's question, which I think is significant.
So the requirement under 1383 is for residential garbage.
It's only residential.
It is in public spaces like parks where you have a really strong nexus for cross-contamination. It's a little bit more flexible, but you're required to have composting for special events. And so the feeling is that because the plaza is the plaza, most of the events here are special events, and we need to fulfill that need under that requirement here.
So in the interim, assuming there's an interim, we could make a request of the Corrados to deliver a composting bins to the plaza. Could we not?
In theory.
Absolutely, we could. I agree with that, actually. Because we have the blue ones, we could just, and I've seen green ones out there.
So, I mean, the thing I don't want to happen is, as Mr. Metzler pointed out, that we ignore our obligation to the planet while we're waiting to find something that we like aesthetically. So it just seems to be, that's not a fair deal. So if we are going to wait for something aesthetically, we have to, in the meantime, address those issues. So I think that, if we couldn't do that, then I would move this immediately because we need it. But it seems to me they have the bins and they could deliver them, and they're newer. I mean, listen, I haven't seen a garbage bin I've ever walked away from going like, wow, that's really a great looking garbage bin. But I understand. Huh?
I've got some to send you.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting concerned. I was appreciative. Now I'm a little worried. But anyway, But in the meantime, I think that if nothing else, let's find the answer to that. We can bring, if they can't supply us with composting receptacles, then I think we have to that's a whole nother issue. We have to perhaps address it, right away. But if they do, then that gives us time to get the most beautiful garbage cans imaginable that Mr. Barnett will let us know about.
Mayor Ding,
Yes.
just one comment. We are working with, on a new franchise agreement, and Summit, we are, in that franchise agreement, we're specifically addressing SB 1383 issues, and, that could be, we can be working that into that agreement. So, just so you know that, and it will be coming forward soon.
So.
That's good.
Oh.
Good. Yeah. Good news. Yeah.
So Sue, city manager, does Ken Wells still advise Corrado?
Yes, we're
Okay,
working with
well,
Ken.
maybe he could come and make a presentation?
We
And not for the negotiations or anything,
Right.
just what are the things, I mean, he used to run, zero waste, and before that, it was another name, but, he understands all of this, and maybe he can enlighten us.
Right, and so does our consultant, or actually contractor, Travis Wagner has some good understanding, real good understanding of what, and so that's why we're working together with them, Ken Wells and the garbage company to make sure
So
we're
possibly,
compliant.
maybe whomever could, I don't know, would help do
Right.
that.
Yeah. So in this way, that's good. Yeah. So today we will not, make any motion, and wait and for further information available.
But as expedient as possible, which, I
Yes.
mean,
Maybe
because
next
of
meeting or.
what Mr. Metzler has said.
Yes. Yeah, that is already in the 3
Quick, quick,
years.
like a bunny,
Maybe
I guess.
next meeting or,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, let me, yeah, already comments, public comments already closed. I think that's done. All right, let's move forward. That is agenda number 5, public and hearing. Today we don't have any public hearing. Agenda number 6, regular calendar. 6.1 discussion, consideration, and possibly action to provide direction to the staff to provide comments to permit Sonoma, County of the Sonoma, regarding the recently released public review draft specific in the plan SP and the draft environmental impact report DEIR for the Sonoma Development Center SDC project.
Actually,
yeah,
David,
David.
Planning Director David Starr is going to take this item. And you can
Thank
see
you.
all the reading material he's done in the last.
Wonderful. That's great.
I'm ready for any question you have, Mr. Mayor. David Storr, Mr. Mayor, council members. Rebecca has a very brief PowerPoint that I'd like to kind of go through that outline tonight.
Okay.
And there is a typo in the staff report, so I'll apologize for that at the get-go. The public review period ends on the 23rd, as you'll see in this PowerPoint, not on the 26th as it says in the staff report. So again, an apology to that. So here we are this evening. Oh, I get to do that? Thanks. Which one do I do, Rebecca? Just the right arrow?
Yeah, don't push the middle button.
Okay. So in concert with the permit Sonoma, the SDC specific plan and EIR are both out for public review and comment. And we have before you tonight just a reminder of a few months back when the alternatives, the 3 alternatives were being reviewed by the public and the county with respect to different land use plans that were being considered, which have then been condensed, if you will, or put into a project called the specific plan. So the County Board of Supervisors will ultimately be approving a specific plan and ultimately certifying an EIR, but before that it will go to the Planning Commission, the County Planning Commission, as they will provide a recommendation to certify the EIR and also a recommendation to adopt the specific plan. So what I wanted to do is just inform your council and also the public about the opportunity to provide comments. Your council may recall that in March of this year, we did, as a city, send a letter to Permit Sonoma, Mr. Brian O., the project manager, welcomes comments and concerns to be addressed not only by the city but by members of the public. You may recall in the letter that we distributed to the county that we talked about supporting affordable housing. We had concerns about a hotel project. There were various iterations of it and locations for it. There was also support for community uses, and also we expressed a concern about traffic and traffic impacts to our city, recognizing that we're about 6 miles away from the Sonoma Developmental Center. The project that's in the specific plan and that has been evaluated by the EIR talks about 2,400 residents, 1,000 units. I've broke them out into market rate, inclusionary, and the like. You can also see that there's 940 jobs. The 2 areas of the environmental impact report talk about significant and unavoidable impacts. I'll just touch on those briefly. Number 1 is the historical aspect. There was a survey done, and under the proposed plan, the specific plan that's analyzed in the EIR, 13% of historically contributing resources will be demolished. That cannot be avoided if they are to be removed, and it's at least. It could go north of that number. Additionally, the VMT is talking about mitigation measures, or as you call it, transportation demand management components or measures. Very rare is it that these days that you can eliminate VMT and get back to whole or par, if you will. And so what happens in most EIRs is you'll find TDMs, as I just mentioned, that try to address and mitigate to the best extent possible. But at the end of the day, this project, like any other in California for the most part, you're not able to meet your VMD reduction targets. So what will happen in this case, the County Board of Supervisors will be asked to adopt findings of fact and statement of overriding considerations in order to approve the specific plan that's before them. And obviously it's related to EIR. One of the components of the project is the introduction of an east-west road from the core campus to Highway 12. That alignment hasn't been selected, but in the EIR there are a couple of iterations of where that could go. In just talking about the non-residential employment, which is of interest to the council, perhaps, as it was back when we sent the first letter, you'll see that there's 940 jobs. This basically shows how you can turn around the land uses per square foot. So for example, in the hotel that you see there, you'll see later that there's basically 120 units that are being proposed in what's called a hotel overlay zone. With respect to the specific plan in the EIR, something that's really kind of cool. In their inclusionary housing requirement, they have increased it from 20% to 25% inclusionary, and they're requiring them they'll all be built on site. And if not built on site, they will take an in lieu fee for purchasing land on site, and also for just the dedication of land, but also an in lieu fee to cover the cost of actual construction. This is unique in that the city of Sonoma was the first in the region to go to 25%, and it's good news all around that the county has targeted 25%, and we'd like to be able to say that we could beat our chest on that one and set an example in the community. So rah-rah to the city of Sonoma. As I mentioned, 120 keys for a hotel overlay zone. So that is no longer on the east side of the project, but inside the core campus area near the main building. One concern that we addressed in that letter also is that we are not able to find or any information in the EIR related to traffic impacts that will affect our city and Highway 12. And the reason for that is because CEQA no longer allows for level of service analysis. It goes straight to VMT, and as I just outlined previously, VMT is not going to be an area where everybody can be made whole, so to speak, with respect to eliminating impacts or reducing them to a level of less than significant. That's why the significant is unavoidable. So with respect to traffic, I have another slide here in a moment to show you the geographical impact of where their analysis of street segments is provided, and also intersection analysis. Again, beating on the drum there that the historical resources impacts are significant and unavoidable. The last bullet there that you'll see talks about in the EIR that the historical solution or plan or alternative, I think is the better word, is the environmentally superior project. And as you can see, that the population has been significantly reduced almost by over a half. And the units are a lot less, and the jobs has gone from 940 down to 600. This diagram here was my attempt to be a cartographer, where you can see that there are segments that were analyzed in the alternatives report but are not in the EIR for the reasons that I stated previously. And so as you look to where I've written the words City of Sonoma, you can see that's basically at Highway 12 in Verano. And there's very little analysis of intersections and road segments that we can understand about the project. And that's one of the concerns that we have. Yes, we can argue that Highway 12 is not a city street. It goes through our city. And yes, it's maintained by Caltrans, it's their right-of-way. But when it comes to perhaps the east-west connector, I probably close to where the number 4 is, going over to Highway 12 from Arnold, at number 4 over to Highway 12 where the number 7 is, that's somewhere where the connector is going to be. And the concern simply is just a matter of volume along Highway 12 during an emergency perhaps, and also how Arnold and Highway 12 be impacted, and then relative to the street and infrastructure of our city. So tonight, this is again just a reminder that the public can provide comments, as can the city, should your council wish to do that. We would have the ability to put something together as we did back in March and provide comments to the county before September 23rd. This concludes staff's presentation. I'd be happy to give you this document to read at your leisure. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Yeah, please.
Mr. Storer, I understand models, travel models, but I don't understand if you can project those. Is there a projection just because of housing and whatever's going on there, that we would be able to project a travel model of how it would affect our city?
Yeah, I think the SCTA may have a model that we could talk to them. Chris Barney over there might be able to give us some assistance. If we were to ask Mike to retain a traffic engineer, I'm sure our traffic engineer could look at it for about, what, $3 to $5 grand, Mike, to come up with a study, a traffic impact analysis for us to determine those impacts upon our infrastructure and streets. It can be done. So there's two options that I could see. One, seeing if the SCTA has the ability to do something for us. They do have traffic analysis zones, like little spider work of putting all the pieces together, your data input and the like. That might be something they can do. Asking that of the county would certainly not be appropriate at this
Right,
point.
and especially because it's the community of people who will be living there, if they're a workforce housing, obviously, I don't know about the future of STC, but obviously people are possibly be driving to work. So what's that travel model going to look like? Or they're going to shop. Where are they going to shop? They can't, I wouldn't imagine Oakmont is somewhere where they might shop. They would come into Sonoma. So I think those are the questions that I have. They may be too naive, but it's just something, having been a person who's watched and studied travel models, because I think they're so, they're telling, that might be something that will help us. I don't know.
The downside is we have a short calendar ahead of us in order to get to the 23rd to raise those concerns. I'd be a wet blanket if I told you that it couldn't be done, but that's a quick turnaround to have a traffic engineer try to do something off the cuff.
So maybe SCTA is.
That's probably our best option at this point, and maybe talking to W-Trans.
They're the pros.
Yeah.
I have a question. And we did have 3 alternative projects before, that is more than 1 year ago. So the according to our community and a lot of the complaints, and we need a 4th one. Do you think this is the 4th one? Any difference between this and the previous?
So the 3 alternatives had a variety of housing and
Yeah.
locations for where it was going to happen and level of densities and that kind of a thing. This is a hybrid of the 3. There's one of the most obvious is the location from the east side of 12 and or east side of the campus over to the west side or more central for the hotel. That's been relocated.
Okay.
Mayor Dink?
Yes, please.
So I would like to give input to the Board of Supervisors. As you all know, I've been following this thing. I've been on many late night calls with a bunch of people giving their opinions on this. And no one likes this one any better than the first 3 that came out. When I say nobody, I'm talking about the residents of Glen Ellen, Eldridge, and around. And they're still complaining about it. There's still a concern about the wildlife corridor. There's a concern about putting a road that connects, it might increase safety in terms of access and egress. What does it actually go through? What is it, what are you disturbing when you're doing that? How long would it take to do that? And then the big concern is it's just too big. There's just too many houses there for the area and for what's planned. And it just turns it into this sort of mini suburb between Sonoma and Glen Ellen that kind of destroys, the current climate of what has been left from the SDC. The hotel is still there. As long as the hotel is still there, to your question, Councilmember Agramonte, is that there will be, lower wage workers going in and out who can't afford to live in here, who probably will not even be afford to be part of the 25% of the inclusionary housing that's there. That has what has increased all the traffic on Highway 37 and through Sonoma, check out 5th Street West during commute time. That's where they're going. So I'd like to get back to the overall point is that the Sonoma Developmental Center was created to serve the people of California, and specifically some very at-risk residents of the state of California. And it was dedicated to some positive use for the state of California and for the county of Sonoma. And although I absolutely support and hope that they do include housing there, because we need housing, and I am in favor of housing, I think the amount of housing they have there is too much for that area. The creating another road may be impossible because they don't even know where it would be. So I would like to go back to reiterate our previous letter of March and send them again and say that our issues were not addressed in the current version, and that we still stand by our position that something, whatever is there as an economic generator, should be something that benefits the people of the state of California, that they should preserve the wildlife corridor, that they should look at the amount of housing and make it proportional to the space that's currently there, and not just dump in a lot of housing that's just going to exacerbate all of those problems. And that the state should take a second look at it and maybe decide there's something else that they could put there. I mean, there are examples of great projects in the state of California, the Presidio being one of them, where they could have turned it into a whole lot of housing and there's a hotel, but that hotel was a hotel. It's just a different type of hotel. And instead of creating a problematic eyesore, they have something that is now, again, for the benefit of the people of the state of California. In this case, it was a national monument. So I don't think we need to say anything different necessarily than what we said in our first letter, but I think we should remind them of our initial concerns and say they haven't been addressed in this previous version. I mean, does that sound, Mr. Storr, does that sound like correct to you? Like it would be in line with what they're asking?
Well, they want comments on their proposed project. This is their plan. Again, they're taking the pieces of the direction from the state and the county, and that is now vested with the county to determine what it thinks best. And of course, there needs to be a financial plan, and the market rate development is going to be paying for all of these other wonderful things. I was remiss, but thanks for reminding me here. As with most EIRs, actually with all EIRs, there's an alternatives analysis, and I didn't provide a slide for that, so I apologize. But if gone are the days for the overhead projector, I could have just slipped this on there. But if I may, Mr. Mayor, I'll just kind of read through some of these, and maybe I could just pass this around as I'm talking here after I've spoken. So the proposed plan.
The alternatives analysis is in the EIR.
Yes,
right?
it is.
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
Page 534.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, if you go online, you can just scroll down to that page. But the proposed plan is 2,400 population. So there's 4 other alternatives, if I can. One, and I'll go down in the order of their analysis in the EIR. The low development alternative is 1,800 population. The high development is 3,000. The reduced development alternative is 1,800. So again, you've got 2 there that are below the 2,400, one that's higher. And then the historic preservation one that I did focus on as the environmentally superior is 1,080. When you switch that to housing units, that was population though. When you go to housing units, the proposed plan is 1,000 that I mentioned. The low development is 750. The high development is 1,250, so only an increase of 250 housing units. The reduced development alternative is 750, and then the historic preservation alternative is 450. I do want to point out, and I think I mentioned it, but I could be wrong, on the historical preservation, there is no east-west road that goes through the environmentally sensitive areas that you're talking about, Councilmember Lowe. So when it comes to jobs, the range goes from a low of 600 up to a high of 940. So I will just pass this around if that's okay.
In terms of my comments, I generally agree with everything Councilmember Lowe just said. You know, I think obviously the state, from what I understand, has a very significant surplus right now. And if I was the state, I probably wouldn't be doing what they're doing with this property, which they started this process a long time ago at a different, you know, at a different situation with the state. But I think maybe they should reconsider their decision-making process with this. I think this is a beautiful campus and could continue to be a beautiful campus, whether it's a academic institution, a scientific research institution, a medical institution. You know, obviously the main commercial component proposed in this specific plan is hospitality. We obviously have a lot of hospitality in this valley already. And I don't know what the primary industry in this valley is going to be 50 years from now, but we should start thinking about that. We should start creating institutions that sort of reflect the future rather than the past. You know, so, but that's just sort of the general 30,000-foot sort of view on things. And so to David's point, we have to respond specifically to the specific plan. So I support Councilmember Lowe in terms of like sending that letter again, reiterating that, and perhaps maybe there is a part of the specific plan that we don't necessarily have to support, but with the letter, they'll obviously know what we say, but we could, you know, perhaps support, what was it, the historical alternative, whatever alternative that didn't have the road, that had the least number of unit, etc. And perhaps we could basically, I don't know what the right terminology would be, maybe not support it, but say if we had to, you know, sort of like a if you have to choose sort of situation. So.
But I think we have to say something, because that's the impact is going to be tremendous, and you know, we're the only city you know, that has an elected body that's anywhere, you know, close, within 6 miles, as you said, and the people of Glen Ellen and Eldridge and the area, and the people who worked at the developmental center, either Roger Roten worked at the developmental center, as earlier stated, you know, are really looking to us for our leadership on this issue. And so I don't want to have the comment period go without us saying something. So I don't know if we've given you enough direction. We do have a meeting on the 21st, which gives us enough time to bring something back and then present it to them on the 23rd. But, I mean, I definitely think we should say something about this, and, you know, hopefully, you know, we can, you know, I know it's gone out for you know, for bids, if you will. I know that I've looked at some of that. The
You're talking about
Department
the
of
private
General
development?
Service, yeah, the Department of General Services has already issued that. But, you know, things can change, you know, and if we, you know, express our dismay at these options, I mean, you know, as far as the hotel is concerned, the other thing, and I really like what you had to say, Vice Mayor Barnett, regarding about the future. I mean, I want to think about a kid at Sonoma High right now saying, I love this town, I want to stay here, I want to work here. And it's like, what economy are we going to create that's an alternative to hospitality, that, you know, kids in school that are studying science or studying art or something who want, or maybe they want to go to college and come back. You know, we're not creating a future employment model for them in their hometown or in their home area, that, and then they leave. And then so what happens is we create a town of people who've already made their, you know, made enough money somewhere else to come back and either retire here or work from home or whatever. But it really is an important thing to think about, that this isn't just about, preserving the land and the mountain lions, which are scary as hell to me, but I know there's a place in the world for mountain lions, just don't come near me. But anyway, all that's important, but thinking about the future and what kind of economy we're creating there, because at one point that was the largest employer.
Yeah.
And and people, they became, Roger wrote, he was a psych tech. It was enough money. You could live on it. You had benefits. You had health care. I mean, the hotel won't have any of that.
I again agree with what Councilmember Lowe had to say. I mean, I grew up with a lot of kids whose parents worked at SDC, and they offered good middle-class jobs, and they established roots in this valley. And unfortunately, that doesn't really happen much anymore. Our economy has completely diverged. And looking to the future, it would be great if there was some sort of institution there that continued to offer those good middle-class jobs. And, again, looking at hospitality and looking toward the future, I'm not a climate scientist, but there could come a day where you can't really grow grapes around here. And what then? And so we need to start thinking about the future. And, again, that's not what they're asking us to do here, but any of that in a letter, I think, would be great. And of the alternatives, I think I would support personally the historic preservation alternative, because it's the one that doesn't have that road, and it does appear to be the alternative that has the least impact on the land.
So if I can just,
and perhaps could open up other options.
If I can just add to what I've been hearing. When City Manager Sue and I spoke, we talked about the timing of your next council meeting, such that we would get one opportunity now and then have one last one if we needed it. So what I could suggest or recommend is that we craft a draft for you for your next meeting to review. What I think I'm hearing is that there may be support for alternative, the superior alternative, environmentally superior alternative, to recommend that they adopt a plan that reflects that, without the hotel component and without the connector street, to maintain the sensitive environmental lands that would otherwise be harmed by the connector going from Arnold over from the campus over to Highway 12. I like that approach, because then I can also dovetail it with the unknown impacts that are not required to be listed in the EIR for reasons that I've just stated, that there's some unknown impacts to our city that we don't understand at this point in time. So if, I would suggest also, Mr. Mayor, that you open it up to the public to receive comment. If there are no other comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Any public comments right now? It's like, yes.
Robert Demler, First Street West, Sonoma. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. I appreciate the remarks of Councilmember Lowe and Councilmember Barnett. I mostly agree with those, and I'm happy you made them. I was very enthusiastic about this project at the beginning, and there was lots of comments, meetings. I did my homework. I can't say that tonight. I participated in surveys, et cetera, et cetera. I have the vague impression that the supervisors have failed us in this project. And it's kind of gotten, in my mind, out of hand. 1,000 housing units. I mean, we desperately need housing. And it's not a matter of not in my backyard here. It's how are you going to deal with all of the infrastructure and logistics and so forth? My dream was to have some sort of institution out there, a research institution, move the University of California Historical California Studies to that, and have a built-in small community. It's totally out of hand at this point. And the elephant in the room is I didn't see any indication of an analysis of the water situation that we're currently facing and will be facing for some time in the future, at least I think so. You can't do, I mean, I have often said I do not participate in any drought restrictions because everyone's still approving housing units. It's got to be done in tandem. We've got to plan together, and I also have a vague impression that this could be handed back to the state if things fall apart at this level. So whatever you write, certainly don't go past that smallest historical approach of 480 units or whatever it is. But we've got to shine the light on those issues that would arise from any decision to go forward at some grand scale. I mean, my thoughts are disorganized. I wasn't really planning to speak, but this is very important to Sonoma. You said we're the most organized unit around, and we're going to take the fallout. So my heart goes out to you in doing this, but it's very important. Thank you.
Thank you. Any public comments from Zoom? No? All right. Okay, let me close public comments. Any more questions or no? Yeah. Actually, although our city is not decision maker, but a huge impact because they ask for the community in the comments, and definitely we are the community's representative. Yeah, I look at it, this project compared with the previous threes, no big differences. Yeah, they just. For them, I feel like they just do, the lousy work. They never do development, research. Definitely, they never, listen to us, diversify our local economy. During the pandemic, the hospitality in the business, got greatly affected, and then we definitely needed to, diversify. And number one, number two, and this is a historical opportunity for our, the valley, to the high tech. What is in the future development technology, how we can catch up, and our kids are very smart. They just need an opportunity. We should work hard and created this kind of the opportunity. When they come here, taste of the wine. Actually, I really want to see in the next decades, and we work together, could it be a taste of technology, and in the long-term benefit of the the valley. And otherwise, if economically we are not strong, we cannot maintain our pity and of our valley as well. Yeah. So I agree with the David, and maybe prepare those, our comments and repeat our initials, and then to see. I'm not sure what kind of other and alternative ways we can do, keeping the, the pressure, keeping giving the more pressure to county and state. I'm not sure if any. Do you have any? Just the talk looks like no any use. They don't listen.
I think, Mr. Mayor, I think we could draft a letter for your pen on behalf of the City Council and have that perhaps as a consent item at the next meeting. Would that work, Sue?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, thank you.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. That is. Let's move on. Agenda number 6.2, discussion, consideration, and then a possible action to adopt a resolution disbanding the homelessness task force and establishing an ad hoc advisory subcommittee on homelessness and appointing two city council member to the subcommittee. Sue, yeah.
Mayor Ding and City Council members, tonight we're asking the council to adopt a resolution disbanding the Homeless Task Force and establishing an ad hoc advisory subcommittee on homelessness and appoint 2 council members to the subcommittee. So on Wednesday, June 15th, 2022, the Sonoma City Council heard a report from Andrew Henning, the city's contract consultant on community members experiencing homelessness. And at that meeting, the city council directed the city manager to begin the process to create a homeless task force, and then appointed Vice Mayor Barnett and Council Member Agramonte to the task force. Following that meeting, the task force was also going to be comprised of city staff, local stakeholders, and county representatives. Following that meeting, the city attorney advised that any committee, commission, board, or body, including a task force that is created by formal action of the council, is subject to the Brown Act, except an ad hoc committee comprised solely of 2 members of the council. So whenever a meeting is subject to the Brown Act, then we have to notice it. It has to be, there's a lot more involved with having a meeting that's subject to the Brown Act than just a regular ad hoc committee meeting. So staff is recommending that the Homeless Task Force that was originally created be disbanded, and that we create an ad hoc advisory subcommittee and comprised of the original city council members who were appointed to the task force. So the subcommittee will be charged with convening and facilitating collaboration among local providers and partners who are working with community members experiencing homelessness, creating a work plan so that the county and Sonoma Valley service providers can align resources and services. In addition, the ad hoc committee will create a work plan to include steps to establish a shared database to ensure adequate services and progress towards coordinated entry, case management, and housing needs are being met. And then the subcommittee will provide recommendations to the city council from time to time as needed. Once the final recommendation to the city council is made, the subcommittee will automatically be disestablished. So again, we're requesting council to adopt a resolution disbanding the original homeless task force and establish an ad hoc advisory subcommittee and appoint 2 council members to the subcommittee. And if you have any questions, please let me know.
Yeah, my only question, and thank you for that report, is what do you anticipate will this subcommittee do before early December?
Well, the first thing that we're trying to do is we'll be working with the county, because we want to find out from the county what is there's some plans for, there's HAS, and we want to know exactly where that project stands before we would meet to convene the homeless providers in the valley. There's several, and the homeless providers homelessness providers would be SOS, HAS, but then also we want to engage FISH, who actually works with the community to prevent homelessness. And then there's La Luz, and there's the county health providers. So, but the first thing is to work to find out from the county where we stand on certain projects, especially the HAS project, to before we meet together to find out what we can do, and then also to find out what kind of funding might be available for a homeless, I guess what we would call a homeless, I don't know. We don't want to call it a czar. That's not the right term. But
I think he said coordinator.
Coordinator, yes. And so we will be meeting with them first, and then we want to get the task force or the ad hoc committee together with, invited guests from those providers to figure that out. And then we also want to find out, can we create a database where and actually our homeless, Andrew Henning has already made a lot of progress on creating a database of all the providers who is using the services currently. And so I think that's where those steps will need to be done first before the ad hoc committee meets.
Do you think that will be happening by early December?
Yes,
Okay, 'cause-
we've already progressed, and we're hoping
Yeah,
to have
so
a meeting tomorrow with Dave Kiff. So
The only reason I bring that up is if we can have a few meetings and get things going and we set the foundation for the next council, that's great. But
Yeah.
if we're not even really going to meet until
Yes.
then I would just suggest we know that
Yeah.
Mayor Ding and Councilmember Lowe will be on the next council.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to
Yeah.
get it going. But
Yes.
if
Yeah.
we're
realistically
definitely
it's
gonna
not,
get it
then we
going.
might
Yeah.
as well
Yeah,
just.
I
Yeah.
appreciate
So,
you guys carrying on
Yeah.
until that time.
So in the last
Foundation.
meeting that we had, it was absolutely amazing because we're gonna make sense out of nonsense. Because there is a project that's supposed to be working right now. And that's why I think you and Andrew are gonna be meeting with Dave Kiff to actually get the facts about this project that I think is, really valuable for us. And that will enable us to actually make some decisions. Because right now, we're just strolling along and not really doing anything. So I think it's really important what has evolved in this. So and I think you're gonna meet tomorrow, is that right, with Dave Kiff?
Yes.
So possibly we'll
Yeah.
be able to
Right.
Well, I would
say-
love to get going.
Yeah.
you know.
Right, and,
So, yeah.
and although you haven't really heard about it, Andrew Henning has been working behind the scenes and has, made a lot of progress again on the database that we're trying to establish.
Right.
And working with all the providers, so.
Right, and that's true, and what's so wonderful is that I've spoken to Healdsburg and Reach for Home, and I think it was Home Key Funds bought a hotel for them, which is great, but they don't know what to do. And so they reached out to Burbank Housing, who will actually be project manager. That might be something that can be considered for this project as well. So that way we'll be able to actually move forward, which I think is important. I understand, what you're saying, because we keep hearing all this weird stuff, this is happening and it's not. So I think, thank goodness, Sue is gonna be meeting with Dave Kiff and Andrew, and hopefully we'll make sense out of nonsense, hopefully. So I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah, I think our in the city needed to give the more support to local nonprofit. They are very struggling. I was talked by the HAS recently. Financially they are very, very struggling, and even right now they don't have any an office in the place to work with, because last year they got an offer from local business organization, give them the free office. That is the Sebastiani Theater's second floor, and they were using the less than half year, but they were using that office very often and also talk very loud. And then right now the landlord take over. He said, I'm sorry. So right now basically they talk with me, request for a place to work, to make a phone call. I don't have. I talk with the Sue, and looks like we don't have a lot of the resource, because we already in the lease that out in Haven to an SOS. It's possible or not possible. We sublease to the HAS. It's really issue, and we see. Yeah, it's very struggling. A lot of the work they are doing, and actually out in the city should local government should share some of the responsibility. Yeah. So we need to work hard. Yeah. So
So, Mr.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, this is exactly why I say your meeting is very important. We'll be making sense out of nonsense. That's what's happening here. So we'll know the facts about all of those things you've addressed. We need to find out the facts, because I think this is a very important project. And hopefully within 2 days, Vice Mayor, we'll have those answers and we can move forward.
And during your meeting, I'm wondering if you can talk with the supervisor, Susan Gorin, see if the county consider and waive some application form for those, the little mini house design and the permit. It's killed them. That means a lot of the process. Yeah.
Pardon me, Mr. Mayor, but it's more nonsense.
Yeah. So it doesn't from the county they want to solve the homeless issue. At the same time, they assess huge fees against this homeless provider. That totally doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
We expect a miracle from you, city manager. I am just so excited about whatever you do all discuss, then we can move forward.
All right. So I think we were open to the public, right? Yes. Any in the public comments? Any on the Zoom?
No one's raising their
Okay.
hand, Mayor Dean.
All right. So, this item, do we need to make an motion or?
Yes.
Okay. So we make the motion.
I move approval.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Lowe,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Barnett,
Aye.
Councilmember Agarmonte,
Aye.
Mayor Dean.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion carries 4001.
Thank you so much. Let's move to agenda number 7. Council members' report and the comments. 7.1, City Council. Okay, council member are appointed to various board and committees and the local, county, and the wide, and the region. So last week, Sandra and I went to legal of the Cal cities in the Long Beach. Total is in 3 days, and just like in the previous year, and the everything, got in it's kind of a social, and also, and got in a lot of the new program, and we listened to, and also there were a couple of the seminars talking about the future of the city, talk about the smart agriculture and the management, smart city. That's a lot of the new ideas. So I'm wondering, out in the county, those kind of designer, why that they should not take this kind of the study, got something a new concept. I really don't know. And in the last day when our annual conference, and we approved the resolution that is the so-called enhance and the local authority for housing elements. So that means SB 9s. We want to get on the local needed to get the more authority to decide and development for the SB ADU.
I don't think that passed, actually.
And no more the debate,
Right.
Yeah, no more the debate. Yeah, no more debate. We turned it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, it went back.
Yes, went back. Yeah. So we still are looking for, but I'm not sure now how much the influence for the Cal cities, this kind of ballot measure, when they give the, the conference, or give to the assembly. So maybe Sandra will, and me, will keep a look at it. Mm-hmm. If there any chance, we can, make some the voice. Yeah, definitely. And during the visitor meeting, and the people almost in a half and a half, so any new ideas, suggestions, I think will work very well. And I have no more. How about you? You have any meeting?
Nothing.
Yeah, so,
Yeah,
yes, I was at the
more.
League of Cities
Yeah.
too. I went to
Yeah.
I went to a session that was specifically about parklets. I thought that was important. I went to a session on, and got my certificate on harassment in the workplace and how to avoid that. That was very interesting. I also, today was the Sonoma County Transportation Authority. I couldn't stay on the whole time because we had a closed session, but there was some interesting, I didn't really have time to put that together for this meeting, but I will. There was a lot of good input, and it's just good to network with people, to see what's going on in their cities, to get an idea of how, everyone's having the same questions regarding parklets. And it was very interesting to be in a room with everyone. How many have this problem? Everybody. How many have this problem? How many are still going to do it? Everyone. It was good. And so I got a lot of resources, including resources of someone who monitors people who are using Airbnb but not reporting it. It's a whole enforcement thing, and they've got that wired. I'm sending stuff over to staff that I've picked up, but I enjoyed the conference, and I'm looking forward to being more engaged with the League of Cities, because there's a lot to be learned.
All right. Okay, thank you. So let's move to agenda number 8, city manager comments and announcements.
So a couple announcements. Tomorrow night, the Design Review and Historic Preservation Commission will be discussing adding 10 sites to the city local inventory of historic sites and structures, and that was originally approved by the City Council in 2006. And then last Wednesday, the LAFCO approved the city's municipal services review, and that's the first since 2006. And that's the end of my comments.
Thank you. Agenda number 9, city attorney comments.
My only comment is I also was at the League conference last week, and I did meet up with the mayor. I miss you, Councilmember Lowe. Sorry about that. Enjoyed the information that was provided. A very informative 3 days at the conference. It's the first time I've been to the Long Beach conference. Actually, they've got quite a complex there. It's pretty impressive. Anyway, it was enjoyable. Learned a lot. Met some great people. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda number 10, commission a committee roster. Any?
I first of all, I want to thank staff for putting this together. And I apologize because I couldn't find it, because I kept clicking our appointment, our commissions. That's what got me.
Yeah.
Anyway, confused. No excuse for that, but I was just confused. So, there are vacancies that, there's an alternate to DRHPC. There's an alternate to the Planning Commission and Traffic Safety too. And thank you for putting this together. This is so helpful. But then there's nothing posted to apply right now. So there's no application period open, although there are openings. So is there a way that we could post every time there's an opening, just automatically say, openings, and have people submit their, because by the time it comes to us, we don't meet every week. Some of these have gone on for a very long time, and I know I had somebody and then she backed out, but it just seems like you could go to the appointments page, see what's available, and apply, and then when we have sort of enough applications, then maybe we can make some appointments. But it just it seems like it's just we're not getting a handle on this, and I'd like to see these commissions always filled if possible. Is there a way we could do that? Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. And we did recently go out for the planning commissioner alternate, and we received no applications.
Right.
There we are right now. Actually, it's the time of year that we go out for recruitment. So you'll be seeing those announcements come out. We're actually bringing an item at the next council meeting, because as we discussed at the retreat, we need a little direction of how you guys, with having 3 members of the council going off the council
Right.
to make these appointments. At this point, it would be for a very minute amount of time. So
Replacements.
that we're going to be
Yeah.
bringing this item at the next, that's something that Sue and I talked about today.
Sure.
That we're going to be bringing this item back to the council for some clear direction on how you want to proceed with this one. There is a set manner in the way we do recruitments. Typically, they are filled as they become vacant. And we talked a little bit about like the traffic safety committee there was some question as to whether that was going to continue over the past year and a half that's been going on. Now they've been reestablished, so these are all things that we are looking at, Councilmember Lowe, and they will be being addressed.
So, Mr. Mayor, I know, I've been contacted by 2 people, I forgot, I'm sorry. I didn't discuss it with you, but so are there people there who have actually applied but haven't been answered, or there's nothing open? I don't know.
We've received applications, and everyone receives a notice that their application's been received. This
Oh.
is the pros and the CAC commission that we talked about at the retreat. And this is one of the things that we're bringing up at the next council meeting, is we need to get direction on council, from the council. We had extended the period because we didn't have enough to fill the commissions under the makeup that was set. We have applications, that period did close, and that was one of the things why we brought it up, because at this point, if you fill that, it is for a period of about 3 months, 2 months. So do you want to bring a whole commission in and have them do 2 or 3 months of work and then have a possibility of all being removed as the new appointments come in?
Then, thanks for explaining that, but as I said, I got a couple of, and one of the persons was on the phone this evening, I forget his name, from the Clay area.
Oh,
Sin,
yeah, Xing Jinping. Yeah.
yes, and he actually asked in an email, I didn't have an answer. So if there's an answer that says, we got to have this issue, possibly you could let those people who are waiting, and this is what's going on. I mean, I don't know. You know what you're doing. I'm just suggesting letting people know.
I'll send out an email to the group, to all of the applicants that applied, that we're going to be bringing this forward at the next council meeting.
I thought at that agenda or whatever I thought we had decided not to appoint because of what you just discussed. Did we?
I don't have in my notes that you actually came to a direction, Vice Mayor Barnett, and if I missed that, then my apologies. I know we talked about the appointing and people going off, and then we got onto the subject of doing bigger recruitments. So I don't know if I don't have in my notes that we actually got clear.
Yeah, I don't know if we did. I mean, I don't think we took a vote or anything, but
Sorry, we didn't have, that's why we're going to bring it back to the council meeting in order, so we can make a decision about that. How do we want to proceed on those commissions that.
Right, so
Yeah.
possibly convey what's going on.
Yeah.
Right.
Because they just, it's just one of those things we've been going through for the last 2 or 3 years. So I think they would like to know, unless somebody else has another thought or an idea about it, but I think they.
I would just hate staff to spend more time on it currently.
Yes.
Like meaning,
That makes
Yeah.
sense. That makes sense.
But we will notify, I mean, we are bringing that forward
Yeah.
because it is
Okay.
something I think we should have council, like a vote on, and then we will, but we can let the applicants know, that it's coming forward on the next meeting, and that, that's.
Okay.
Okay.
Because it would be, and then going forward, we can talk about just, just having a list all the time. I mean, because, if you're looking for an appointment, let's say, by the governor, for example, there's a million commissions and whatever. And you can just go on and you can fill this out, you can apply at any point. You don't wait till it's like open. It's just like you put your application in and you talk to them, whatever. I just think it would be, when you go out to, when I talk to people and groups, I could say, fill this out, and say you're interested, and just check the boxes of the commissions and committees you'd be interested in. And then that way we start building up a pool of people, because when we just go out and make an announcement in the paper and it's like 2 weeks, then it's almost too late. And the other thing is, if we really want to get a diverse group of people and bring in new people and have youth and have different things. You know, it takes some time to build that up, and and we need that.
It sounds like we have to change our appointment policy because
Yes.
once you apply for an opening, if they're not selected, we move on. Like we don't store. Like so, we need to keep applications on file. We have to.
I think that you know I've had a couple comments regarding the application policy and the application itself. I went on there just to kind of fill it out, just to see what it would feel like, and there were some things on there I felt like were almost inappropriate. Like, why are we asking this question? I mean, is it important if someone owns their home or they're a renter? I mean, really? Are we asking people that? I just felt like that was kind of I just I didn't know, what's the point of that? I mean.
Conflict. It's due, when we redid it, it's because of conflict of interest. Because the conflict law is different if they own or they rent. So what we can do, if it's felt that that's intrusive, then we can not put that on the application, then they'll just have to talk with the staff afterwards. But that's why it was.
That seems a little bit, I mean, that's just like when you fill out your 710, you know, no one, you just fill it out after the fact, you know, no one asks you in advance. I mean, it felt very odd. And I think that it's off-putting to someone when they see those questions. They don't want to fill it out. They're kind of like, what's this all about, you know? And we don't really, for us to make a decision, that's not important. We'd just kind of like to know, you know, who are you? Where are you at? How long have you lived here? You know, what are you interested in? You like dogs? You know, or whatever. You know, just ask them some questions about themselves. But, yeah, I think there's some work to be done there.
Yeah. The next Wednesday, Vice Mayor Barnett and I will interview 6 and SVCC's and the candidates. Yeah, whatever you.
And Mayor Ding, the three of us need to talk after the meeting on that.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. All right. So let's now move to agenda number 11. Meeting is adjourned. Yeah, you can.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.